In line with celebrating Black History Month, the University of Johannesburg, in association with the Sello Maake kaNcube Foundation, has put together a stage play called Bloke and his American Bantu. This play explores the friendship that led to international solidarity and cultural exchange between South Africa and Black America during the 1960s. Written by author Dr Siphiwo Mahala and directed by internationally acclaimed actor Sello Maake kaNcube. This will be staged from the 16th to the 26th of February at the UJ Arts Centre in Johannesburg. Now, to share more on the play, we're joined by award-winning writer Dr Siphiwo Mahala. Siphiwo, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. I mean, how much of the story Bloke and his American Bantu did you know prior to being asked to write this production?
Well, actually, not much. Thanks for having me here. In 2012, I went to the US. Visited a library because I was interested in the correspondence between Langston Hughes and Eskia Mpahlele. And in every second letter, there was always a reference to Bloke Modisane. So I asked for the file of Bloke Modisane, and they asked me which one. So I said, how many do you have? They said, we have 2. So I received these 2 thick files and discovered that between 1960 and 1967, Bloke Modisane and Langston Hughes exchanged over 50 letters. And in between that period, they visited each other, they called each other quite often. So I thought, wow, I tried to research further. So the play is a work of 10 years.
I mean, what period of history is the play set in, and when within the history are the scenes set in?
It's set in the 60s, particularly the early 60s, because that's the period in which they really were close. In 1963, for instance, March 1963, Langston Hughes organized a lecture series for Bloke Modisane where he traveled, he visited over 20 institutions in the different states across the US, where he told people about the situation in South Africa and thus managed to mobilize solidarity against apartheid government, while at the same time, promoting cultural exchange.
Speak to us about your relationship with Sello Maake kaNcube. I mean, this is not the first time that you two are working on a production, and that to some extent is a brotherhood, and there is supposed to be a synergy when it translates on stage. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my relationship with Sello Maake kaNcube is similar to the relationship between Langston Hughes and Bloke Modisane.
Yeah.
In the sense that Bloke Modisane grew up reading Langston Hughes, and later in life, when he was exiled in England, they became close friends. So similarly, I grew up watching Sello on TV, obviously. And then, we had one common passion. We liked Ken Temba's work.
Yes.
So my very first play, when I wrote it, I gave it to him to have a look at it. And then he said, I can act this. So naturally, when I wrote Bloke and his American Bantu, I took it to him because he's the kind of person whom I knew that would understand the play intimately. But what I've discovered also is that Sello, as a director, he's a teacher. I've watched him working with Anele and Dos Molele, where he sits down with them and makes sure that they understand the text intimately before memorizing the lines. So I thought that was phenomenal. That's why we have such a great performance.
What lessons have come with working on this particular project? Because every project comes with its own fair share of lessons.
With me, what I normally do is just write and give to the director and let him do what he does best. And as I was sitting in the audience at the University of Pretoria when it was staged in October last year, there were moments when I wanted to. There's a character who dies, and as we're going to that scene and seeing that it's inevitable that he was going to die, I was so desperate to to help to save him.
Yeah.
You know. So it told me that actually, even though it was just the words, the actors can turn that into life, and in a way that I even myself as the author never imagined.
Yeah. Speak to us about the themes and subjects that are explored in here and how that translates on stage.
Well, I think first and foremost, the play is about the celebration of friendship. But this simple friendship developed into cultural exchange. You see Langston, for instance, even learning some Sizulu and Sepedi words, where they exchange cultural garments, where they exchange music records. So to me, it shows how important it is, how important culture is in terms of diplomatic relations and human relations across the oceans, because these two were separated by the Atlantic Ocean, but the way they were so close is really amazing. But it also shows how important friendship is, because at a time when Bloke was exiled in England, when things were really difficult, one person whom he knew would understand when he screams for help was Langston Hughes. Similarly, Langston Hughes was in a mission to reclaim his African identity, and Bloke was that vital link, as Langston Hughes is the descendant of black people in the Americas.
All right, give us details of the staging at UJ.
The play will be staged at the Arts Center. It opens on the 16th, Wednesday, 16th of February, and it will run until the 26th of February. There'll be no performances on Mondays. We encourage theater lovers, literature people, as well as journalists, because Bloke was well established as a journalist working for Drum.
Mm-hmm. What are you currently working on apart from this? I believe you're working on a new book.
The new book is, I'm no longer working on it. It's ready to go to print.
Yes.
It's the biography of Ken Temper, which I've been working on for a number of years. It will be out next month, published by Wits University Press.
All right. Do you promise we can have a conversation about that?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's been coming a long time.
All right. Dr Siphiwo Mahala speaking to us about a production that's happening at the UJ Theatre, Bloke and his American Bantu. Did you know prior to that's been asked to write this play, talking to us, that's happening at the UJ Theatre.